Hi pals! This video is going to be showing a library book haul that I got and the reviews of the books that I managed to get round to. I wanted to do this video because A, I love the library, and B, I was curious to see, because I get a lot of library books out, and I was curious to see actually how many of them I actually get round to reading. So hopefully you will enjoy this little library vlog, and let's see what I got. I'm just going to quickly go through the books that I got from the library and whether or not I read them and quickly what I thought of them. So the first book we have is Shark Heart, a love story by Emily Habeck. This I absolutely loved. I've been looking forward to getting to this one for a while anyway. So when I saw that I could get it from the library, I was super happy. Because it's not like something that the type of book that I normally go for, so I wasn't 100% sure that I wanted to buy it. And then I could have got it on Kindle, but when I saw, I obviously wanted to get things from the library because that's usually my first port of call. If I can get them there, I do. So yeah. So I really loved this, more than I thought I was going to in a way, because although I had high expectations going into it, it's a book about effectively people turning into animals, and the main character in this is turning into a shark, a great white shark, and it's just about how that happens, the effects it has on the main character and the people around the main character, how that sort of like once they've turned into a shark effectively, what happens to them and the journey they go on with that. So yeah, it was really good. I really liked the randomness of the chapter length. So like here you can see, like, this is one chapter, this is another chapter. So there was like lots of like very like short sections, lots of like chatty sections. So it was actually really quick and easy to read. Yeah, I definitely would recommend Shark Heart. Okay, next on the list we have Iron Widow by Xiran Zhao. And this one, I had high expectations for. I also attempted to read it for the Timmy's Readathon that we did for with Brittany's Patreon. So I actually DNF'd this one. Part of me wants to give it another go at a time because I had such high expectations for it. I would have predicted 5 stars easily for this. But I think I read maybe the first 40 or 50 pages, which isn't as much as I would normally read before DNFing. I usually try and get to at least the 100-page mark in a normal length book like this anyway. And I didn't, partly because I was reading it for Timmy's and ended up having to roll 7 times, which meant that I had 7 books in 7 days. If you want to know more about that, I have got Timmy's video video if you want to go back and have a look at that. It was super fun. Yeah, so really what put me off this was that in the beginning things were just happening without any explanation, and talking to Brittany and a couple of others that have read this book, they've all said like it like improves, and I'm sure it does, but I just wasn't in the headspace to give it that time, I guess. So yeah, I'm going to count that as I didn't read it, because I didn't give it its proper due in terms of how far I like to get in a book. Okay, next we have The Grace Year by by Kim Liggett. And this one was a surprise in a way. Like, I read this because a few people, including Brittany again, read this and really enjoyed it. And then it just, I think, you know, when you hear of a book and then you just keep hearing of a book, this was that book. So when I saw it at the library, I was like, right, yep, I'm grabbing that. And I wasn't disappointed. I read the whole book. No DNFing for this one. And yeah, it's basically, let me make sure I'm not spoiling anything. We've got Tierney, who lives in an isolated village, where girls are banished at the age of 16 for their grace year to prove themselves and get rid of the magic that builds up in them so that they can come back and be safe parts of the community. Yeah, basically it's a patriarchal society, and it's just it's really about Tierney's grace year and what happens and how Tierney fights the patriarchy, I guess. And yeah, but it's not sort of like, what do you call it? Like, it's not highly, I'm trying to think how to describe it without spoiling. Okay, so it's very natural in the way it's written. I hope that makes sense. Outside of my head, it's not, you don't feel like, you feel the sense of injustice, but you don't, it's not like an extreme emotional roller coaster the whole time, which I find sometimes books that are showing up the flaws of a patriarchal society are very emotion inducing. This wasn't that. This was much more, I don't want to say like it, I want to say sedate, but it's not a sedate book either, like as in it's not boring. There is always something going on. There's like some spooky elements as well. Yeah, anyway, I recommend this book. Next we have The Only Survivors by Miranda. This one I DNF'd again. I think I DNF'd it quite quickly. I think I just don't gel with Miranda's writing. This is the third book by Miranda that I've tried, and I think I've DNF'd every single one of them at varying stages. There was nothing actually wrong with the book. It was much more that I just wasn't caring enough about what was going on. Maybe I wasn't in a thriller mood in that moment as well, because I think this is a thriller. Yeah, it is, yeah. And yeah, I just wasn't that into it, and that's okay. I will be reading another Megan Miranda and giving this author one more shot, because the premises for their books intrigue me every time. So it's not that the plot itself is a problem, there's just something in me that doesn't connect. So I'm hoping, give another one of their books a go, and maybe that will be the one. Okay. My goodness, I've got so many books in this car. We are filming in the car because I realised I hadn't filmed this clip, and I'm about to take all these books back to the library. So, yeah, I thought I'd better quickly film. Okay, next we have Yours Truly by Àbíké-Íyímídé. I didn't get round to this one. It will be the first book by Àbíké-Íyímídé that I'm reading. I think I will get to this at some point. I'm obviously returning it to the library, but I probably will try and get it out again at some point. Because again, the premise of the book is quite intriguing to me. And I've just not stopped hearing about Àbíké-Íyímídé and how great this author is. So I need to know. Next we have Black Candle Women by Diane Marie Brown, and this one again I didn't get a chance to get to. I will be taking this one back out again though, because I've been wanting to read this one for some time now. This one is a generational book. It's got a few generations of women from a family that are witches, and one of the young people of the family brings home a boyfriend for the first time, and this apparently throws everything off. So I don't know what that means, but I am intrigued to find out what that means. And it's set in the French Quarter in New Orleans, which I'm slightly obsessed with books set there anyway. I always find them a bit spooky and a bit creepy, even when they're not meant to be, just because of the setting. So yeah, I'm going to be getting to that one at some point. Next, we have The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This one I DNF'd. There's a trend here. Riley Sager, I've generally had quite good experiences reading Riley Sager's books. Yeah, I agree with some of the consistent comments about the way he writes females and things like that. But when I'm reading, I can generally find that I can sort of ignore that while I'm reading and enjoy at least parts of the plot. And I have been intrigued. Like, I really enjoyed Final Girls, for instance. Final Girls, is that Riley Sager? Or am I getting confused? I think it is. Yeah, so I was, and again, this premise really caught my attention. This one is about an actress who's recently widowed and goes to her family's lake house to sort of recuperate and sort of like get through the worst of the grieving process. Basically no one is what they say they are, etc., etc. That kind of thing. You know, you've seen and heard it all in thriller before, I'm sure. Next we have Ace of Spades by Faridah Àbíké-Íyímídé. See, I think I can say that quite well, I hope. This one I didn't get time to, but I will be buying this one. This is an author that I have I read one or two books by this author. I've definitely read one. I might have read two. I read the newest one recently, where Sleeping Where Sleeping Girls Lie. And that was fantastic. And I really just gel with the writing style. And I think when I gel with an author's writing style, I generally then pick up most things by that author. So this is another author that I have on the list. I got this from the library, obviously. I didn't get a chance to read it. I deprioritized it in my huge stack of library books for the fact that as soon as I had a little flick through, I thought, yeah, I'm going to buy this book. So I knew that the worst case scenario is that I'm waiting a bit longer to read it, and that's what's happening. So next we have 3 more books. You'll be pleased to know we're getting there. Next we have Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen. I also have on my Kindle Interesting Facts About Space by this author, which I haven't yet got to. But I'm just I love a title that's a bit like, what does that mean? And I think as well, because I generally go into books pretty clueless, really. I often go on a book's vibes, or if it's an author that I like, I will pick it up, etc., etc. Or just if certain buzzwords grab my attention, or if certain people, like on BookTube or Instagram, for instance, that I have reading taste in common with, if they like it, then I tend to be like, yeah, okay, I'm in. This is about Gilda, a 20-something-year-old atheist, animal-loving lesbian, cannot stop ruminating about death. Desperate for relief from her panicky mind, she responds to a leaflet for free therapy at a local Catholic church and ends up working at this Catholic church. So it's basically about she basically turns up at this church for this therapy. The priest sees her and assumes that she's there to be interviewed for the receptionist post. I think it's the receptionist, some sort of church office job, and she's currently jobless and sees the opportunity and just goes with it. And it turns out that the person that she's replacing died, and then it turns out that this person died in suspicious circumstances, and somehow she ends up investigating. So it's a cool book. I'm definitely going to buy this one and read it again. I think I'll probably annotate this one as well at some point. And who doesn't love a book with a cute little bunny on it? So, second to last, we have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I think I've attempted one Taylor Jenkins read before. I think it was Daisy Jones and the Six, and I just didn't gel with it at all. I think I DNF'd it. I know. I'm that one person that doesn't gel with Taylor Jenkins Reid. Anyway, people keep saying, keep trying. She's a fantastic author, etc. And several times now I've been told to read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo if I do decide to try this author again. Hang on. I did grab The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I did not get a chance to get to it, but I am definitely going to be giving this one a go at some point. So for any of my friends that potentially watch this, see that and just get broken-hearted by the fact that I didn't read it, it's okay, I will. And finally, we have The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. Now, I've been intrigued by this author for a while now. I think I first heard of them when the Yellow Book, that one came out. And then through someone talking about that, also mentioned this one. And this one's premise really grabbed my attention. I want to say the 7-Year Itch for that yellow one. It's not the 7-Year Itch though. 7-Year Slip. The 7-Year Slip. So I grabbed this one. I did read this one and I did enjoy this one. This one is effectively about Florence, who is a ghostwriter with one big problem. She can also see ghosts. So she's a ghostwriter and she can see ghosts. Okay, so I could say that because it is on the blurb. Okay, so Florence is having a tough time, as these books often start off with, and he meets up with the editor for the books that she ghost writes for, and effectively gets told, it's the end of the road unless she gets this book written by the next day, which she hasn't even started. So she's noticing this editor's heart at the same time, because that's apparently what happens when you're being told your life is about to drastically change. You notice the hotness of the person in front of you. Okay, sorry, I will stop being sarcastic now for at least 30 seconds. So she notices hotness, but she's obviously been told this horrible news, leaves the office panicking, and then the next thing she knows is that she's faced with the ghost of this said editor, the hot one. The story goes from there, basically, and it was really good. It was a fun time. It was a fun read. It's not going to change the world. It didn't change my life, and there's massive sections that I've forgotten already, but I did enjoy it. It was a good, solid read, and I would recommend it if you want a fun time with a bit of a different plot, because I don't think I've ever read a plot. Maybe I have. You don't read a plot where, one of the people is a ghost. Main people is a ghost. So I probably have read it before, but I can't remember. So that was that. I'm going to now return all of these books back to the library and potentially pay the fines, because I know some of them are late, which is going to be annoying, but it's my own damn fault. So people, support your local libraries. Remember to take your books back on time, unlike me, and have a great day. Bye.